What's goody, what's poppin'? Go ahead, first off, hit that subscribe button. And then also, after you hit that, go ahead, hit the bell just like that. Thanks. What's goody, what's poppin' YouTube? It's your boy Who's Mans. You already know what time it is. But anyway, we about to get into this. This is not really about the gameplay in the back, which I am using the Chicago Bears. I'm just putting the whole game. I'm not about to edit it down because I'm not really focused on the gameplay. I was just using the Bears just to see if I could run a certain scheme. But anyway, I'm talking about you know, this next gen Madden, and this is not next gen gameplay, by the way. Obviously, you can see by the play screen because I'm trying to get this PS5. But talking about the next gen Madden and the Madden community, which seems pretty split on, well, they in agreement on the state of Madden, but kind of split on the movement and I guess the how to move forward with it. And one thing that I noticed, and actually NYKia called this too, is that when player movement gets realistic, it's gonna expose a lot of the flaws with the game. And it's doing that right now, especially with zone. Man, not so much, because I feel like man is pretty self-explanatory. But even with man, I feel like there's some things that I've seen that they could improve on. With you know, I've been seeing stuff where it's like Jalen Ramsey's getting beat on certain things that I don't think he would get beat on. But as far as like Jalen Ramsey, you know, pressing Tyreek Hill and getting beat over time, I mean, that happens. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to be mad that Tyreek Hill, the fastest player in the NFL, beat Ramsey or Gilmore or, you know, Tre'Davious White or somebody like that. I'm not going to be mad that he beats them over top on just a straight up go route. Like, you know, like, yeah, maybe Jalen Ramsey does a better job of pressing him on the line, you know, and making it harder. But, I mean, as far as if they're running stride for stride down the field and, you know, somebody's waiting on them to get over top, then, yeah, I'm not mad at that. I'm seeing DK Metcalf, you know, they're just sending them on go routes. Ain't nobody really pressing DK Metcalf like that, and he's also extremely fast. So, I mean, there's certain things where it's like, you know, it just makes sense. But as far as like, you know, how these deep blues especially are playing, and how it just seems more like the logic for the zones is, hey, we have this area to cover, so let me just cover this area and make sure. And then it's kind of like they're kind of in the area where the receiver is, but they're not really like trying to guard them. And then this has always been a problem in Madden, especially, you know, since I've noticed since about the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, you know, cycle, when it started hitting that, where they covered some zones just cover grass, where in real life that's not happening. You know, if you see that they're running a flood concept to the right side and you have a zone on the left side, you're gonna they're gonna follow them, or it's gonna turn more into like a zone, and they're gonna go more toward the center of the field and just kind of make sure that nobody leaks out, which usually is what happened. But they're not gonna just cover grass. Deep zones, it's not even the fact that these deep zones don't, you know, they don't try to keep things underneath. They do this thing where, like, if there's a post coming across their face, they don't carry it to the next zone. For instance, you know, on cover 3, if you have a post coming from the left to the right, and, you know, the far right third is going to take that until he gets to the, you know, whatever section of the field that the middle third is taking. So then they kind of cover it over and keep him in front, and then the center will keep him in front and make sure he doesn't get too far over. And then now if the complete right third is being occupied by another deep route, then that's where it's like I understand that maybe he hesitates because he thinks that the third on the right side was gonna take over. But then I think awareness comes into play with that, which is why people have been like, make the stats matter. You don't even need these, special abilities, like deep out elite, deep in elite, mid in elite, all that stuff. Like if you make it to where, for instance, D-Hop, right? If he has 99 catching, 99 spec catch, and like 90 jumping, if he's going up against I don't know, Joe Hayden, right? I'm trying to think of somebody with similar speed, like Joe Hayden or somebody like that, where Joe Hayden's not the best, not the worst, he's good. I'd say he's above average. And you say Joe Hayden's jumping is 85, and his man and all that. It's just like, make it to where it's like, okay, if I throw it deep on the outside to D-Hop against him, you have more of a chance of catching it because D-Hop jumps higher and catches at a higher rate. There's a higher percentage of him catching this pass. Also, the fact that it's next gen, I really hope that they implement some sort of for instance, this is a perfect one. Had that middle third just carried him, and it was more of just he carries him but gets beat because DK's too fast. I get it, but he stood flat-footed that whole time and waited till DK got in front of, got squared up to him, and then decided to run. Where it's like, no, you have to see that, they see that, and then you have to carry him. Now, if he gets beat strictly because of speed, then I have to just deal with it because he's just too fast. But it's just, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense. It's getting exposed because. Me personally, I like the player movement. I liked it when it was, in this current gen Madden, when the movement was a little quote unquote slower. When it's not slower, it's just, it feels more sluggish is what I think people want to say, because it's not slower. They're moving the same speed. It's just, you cannot cut on a dime and maintain speed. That's just not how people work. I mean, there'd be a lot more blown ACLs and broken ankles if that was the case, but that's neither here nor there. It's just, you're seeing a lot of this stuff get exposed. A lot of the stupid stuff get exposed. They need to, like my dude Tick said in one of my comments, they just need to do an overhaul on the animations. There's more room now, so they can add more animations and make it more physics-based. That way, these little stupid things, don't keep happening, and you're like, how the heck did that happen? Where if it's physics-based, it's just like, look, you can have animations, but if it's physics-based, say I dive in front of the dude and I don't actually make the tackle, but you don't hurdle, you just trip over my dude, you know what I mean? Or like, dudes running up the middle like this, if you hold and sprint and you're running up the middle, you catch the lineman with your shoulder pad, you shouldn't just be able to bounce off and keep running full speed like that. I mean, you should just, there's little stuff like that needs to, but it's getting exposed, man. And I think in general, people are not going to be happy until Madden, I'm not even going to say the devs, but the higher ups just let the devs develop the daggone game. They're not letting them develop the game. And it's shown because, you got a dude who played in the NFL, who understands how the trenches work, and he probably can't, implement a certain thing. Like, man, I know that, there's these techniques when you're blocking, and they don't do that. You can't do stunts in the game because, they probably don't have the time nor the manpower to do stuff like that. There used to be stunts, D-line stunts in the game, but they don't have it in there anymore because I don't think they have enough time to program stuff, and they don't have enough funds to develop that part of the. I mean, it's just a bunch of little stupid stuff that they're not doing, and it's going to keep getting exposed, and people are going to continue to be angry. They could speed up the user and do all this other stuff, but long as them zones and other things like that, the little buggy stuff doesn't get fixed, then this game just not gonna be good. Because even current gen, some of the stuff just doesn't make sense. With how they, if you base a line like what he did, and I have outside leverage in real life, if the outside receiver just runs a go route, that's a touchdown. Depending on how that top safety plays, all you have to do right here is you would put in this formation right here how it's set up. In Madden right now, you could be that left linebacker, and I could run a streak with Mooney, and I could cover it. Real life, you're not getting over there, and it's not getting covered. But in real life, you do double streaks over there. You put that one corner in safety in a horrible position because that corner is going to have to decide, like, okay, am I going to take this inside and, risk the outside? Or am I going to take the outside and give up the quick inside? Like, stuff like that. But, I mean, it is what it is. And you see, I'm sitting there like, man, I wish I could take advantage of this. But because of how the player moves, even in current gen, it doesn't make sense. Then you got stuff like this where the animation plays out before you even get a chance. Like, there's been so many times where, like, either I throw a pass and my player animates to catch the ball before I even had a chance to, hit hit anything. And I can tell, like, man, had the defender had complete control, he would have picked that off, but he didn't get a chance to because this animation just started to happen like the 12 yards before the ball got to the dude. Or, there's been times where, like, man, I have a cornerback, I want to go to intercept the ball, but instead when I hit the pick button, he goes into this, I want to swat the ball, and it's like, maybe that's not what I wanted to do. A lot of people just want to be able to control what they do. And it's like, look, if I hit pick and my dude jumps to try and pick the ball and it's just too high over my head, then it is what it is. But don't make me try to swat the ball if I try to pick it. Don't make me pick the ball when I try to swat it. And, it's just like a lot of these people just want control over the player. And some of these animations just don't make sense. Some of the logic doesn't make sense in, like, how things happen, or they still haven't fixed lead blocking. Lead blockers on power runs will run along the line of scrimmage, and they never go to the second level. Even if there's somebody directly in their face, they will avoid blocking that person like they have COVID. It's crazy. It doesn't make sense to me, and I don't know, man. Hopefully they go about fixing the stupid little bugs and make this game good, because right now with the player movement, they have, I think, the base of the beginnings of a good, start to something. But now they have to really focus on the minor details of stuff, match coverage, man, line, the blocking logic, on power runs. Is the pulling guard actually going to pull and try to block instead of just run along the line? Are they going to add stunts, D-line stunts? Are they going to add, maybe more route animations? Because the routes are really good, but there's just little things where it's like, maybe this dude on this double move, he does it this way. I've explained this last time. As far as the franchise, obviously there's a ton they could do with franchise. There's a ton they could do with MUT. Basically just add everything in franchise that you had in there before, but they don't want to do that. I don't know why they took anything out to begin with. even with MUT, there's a lot they could do with MUT. I know people would love to be able to develop or create their own stadium, create their own jersey. Maybe if they had a face scan thing, which I know they can do the face scan, and you can have your own MUT player, where instead of the MUT master could be you. You know what I mean? Where you can just like, hey, I want to be a quarterback. I'm going to put my MUT master as me and just do it kind of in the same way. That way everybody's team is actually unique. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff you could do. Make your own stadium, add your own music, do your own little thing. Bring back the refs on the field. I know some people don't care, but like bring back the refs on the field. Bring back the coin toss in the beginning of the game. It's cool. One thing that I personally would like is if somebody rage quits, I still want to be able to look at my stats in that game. Because there's some times where you're like, man, I did really well on this thing, and I'm going to look at my stats. And you can't, because it just closes out the whole thing, where it's just like, just leave it open for me, but just close it out for him. I don't know if that could work. Maybe that could also, if they could figure that out, maybe that could also kind of tone down on all the DCs and stuff, the DC losses for people. Other than that, man, they just need to bring it back to how Madden 08 on the PS2 was, in original Xbox, because those Maddens were just really in depth, man. They were very in depth. But anyway, I guess I ain't gonna be able to play no next gen Madden for a hot minute because these PlayStations keep selling out ASAP. So I don't know, man. I guess I'll be able to play it here in a sec, but let me know what y'all wanna see next time. I got a Call of Duty video coming up, and then I'm also gonna go ahead and talk about these Steelers as well. I'm gonna start talking about the Steelers more. Because I'm a Steelers fan, so I'm going to talk about the Steelers more. I'll give y'all a little preview, because right now, I don't think it's really the actual Steelers. I think it's more of a Randy Fichtner problem. He's just not opening up the playbook. I get that we're struggling with the run, but at the same time, he can't keep calling these bubble screens, and little hitches all over the field when we have a 6'4" just giant who can run. You have Deontay Johnson who just runs routes just so effortlessly, and then we also have Juju and James Washington. You have 4 good receivers. The O-line is really good. You have Eric Ebron. Vance McDonald's not bad. Open the playbook up and you can't throw the ball 40 times a game. I'm sure there's something that can be done so that, I don't know, man. Like, the play calling has just been atrocious on offense, and I don't think it's helping out the defense at all. But I'm going to call it here, and hopefully y'all like that little segment, because I can get more in depth with the games and whatnot, and maybe I'll start talking more about just the games in general, maybe the interesting games from the week. But I'm gonna end it here. This is going on 20 minutes, so I'm gonna cut it here. And if y'all like this kind of content, go ahead, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff, and I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.